everyone. Welcome to Survivor with Jay, Jack, and Colleen. My name is Jay.
My name is Colleen.
And I'm the pole is wet.
The pole was wet. My soul is wet. Wendell is gone. And I officially have nothing to live for.
And again, don't build a quality shelter. Literally, it had no roof to it. So, sit around.
Here's my question.
Talk strategy, but let's.
So is this? I mean, this to me is clearly Sophie's in the driver's seat because, from what we saw, this was her desired outcome, right? And Jeremy, who we thought at least was making moves, but his edit seemed to come out of nowhere, where he was talking a lot in this episode.
Jeremy?
Yeah.
Jeremy's had a huge edit, very strong edit the whole time, I think.
I don't know. I felt like he had a lot of. I don't know. Maybe not. I felt like he kind of came.
I felt like
this was shown a lot.
This is going to be like Jeremy's like coming out party as like a really strong winner's edit candidate, which he could still be. I don't know. I mean, him being on the wrong side of the numbers and that look of him just being so upset after we saw him go around frantically all day. I thought he was. It was interesting because you could tell that it was obviously between Sophie and Jeremy wrestling for control, and we saw Jeremy running around frantically and thinking that he had talked a whole bunch of people into it, but at the end it was Sophie who was very chill about it, who managed to come out on top. So
Sophie's definitely in charge of the game right now.
She is, but at what point do they turn on her?
Now you still have the targets.
But I think it just depends. It depends if you're kind of crescendoing too early. Much like I think when we were talking about Denise taking out the queen, is she the queen now? I don't think so, because I think she did it too early, and pre-merge is too early to make a big move like that, because as you saw in Tribal, everyone was talking about it, so everybody knows she has a resume. So she is a threat. If she didn't win immunity tonight, she would be the one going home.
She definitely been got, because it almost came across as she was too open about it, too cocky about it.
Yep. Yeah, and
obviously they knew that she did it. So, but you have to. She could have said it in a way. Yeah, I was just lucky it happened that way.
I don't know if everybody there knew that she did it, because
no. But I'm saying eventually everyone would have known she's the one behind it. But she could have said it in a way where, I
she
just
could have
got
been
lucky.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
You downplay it. You don't play it up.
Right.
You play it up when you get to the final three, and you say, this is what I did.
Mm-hmm. Right. I was kind of wondering. I was like, all right, how much has she had to drink? She had them loose lips.
Yeah.
I know that all too well.
She kind of, she kind of leaned into it very easily, and I feel like she has been up to the Sandra vote playing a low key game and staying low, and again, that's where I'll argue to the death that I think it was too early, and she could have made a really good alliance with Sandra. But instead, now they know that she's a threat and she could go. But to Sophie's gameplay here, clearly, and we've said it from the beginning, I thought her and Yule had kind of the best gameplay so far, and Yule, the shakeup, kind of took out every single old school player that was left in the game.
Oh, so upset.
And I think I don't know what can take down Sophie at this point, because I don't know if the blood is on Sophie's hands. In looking back at this episode, and we'll see how it goes next week. But I think there's just so many ridiculous people left that Sophie can still fly under the radar on this, because it's going to be more on, because Nick had a bit of a dodo edit this episode, and that's probably not going away. And Adam,
Adam, he definitely got the geeky, the nerd music.
Also, the guys are not considering the women a threat.
Right.
If you heard Tony or
it was Ben.
Tony, Ben. It was like we're the threat. The only threat they mentioned was kind of Denise.
Right.
Well, I think Denise. But if you think about the people left, Kim's a big threat, but she was neutered. Right. Parvati's gone. Sandra's gone. they took out the bigs, but if they don't pay attention, Sophie's going to run away with it.
Right. Sophie's. Since was it South Pacific that she won?
Mm-hmm.
That was my first season. I joined it a little bit in, so I missed the first half of it. I think I joined it maybe 4 or 5 episodes in, and I knew nothing about like gameplay or whatever. I was just kind of watching as like inquiring minds want to watch this show with my husband.
Wait, so this is all my fault?
Yes.
Damn it.
Yes, it is. But anyway, long story short, I know there's no such thing with me, but
wait, is this a Mandy email?
Yes.
You beat me to it.
Whatever, guys. Anyway, so my point is that I don't remember much of Sophie's gameplay, and she's so good. Like she's
because
so
you don't remember it because it's not. She doesn't go. She's not a showman. She's not like Tony or Russell. Who it's like it's not dramatic. It's just her and Jeremy have similar games.
They do, which is why I was surprised. Which is why I was not surprised that it would be the two of them kind of facing off for power at the merge.
Correct, and I think where Sophie was if I had to put money on it, I would put it on Sophie because she had a better foundation of relationships than Jeremy had, where he was on the tribe with Rob and Parvati that lost a lot. So he didn't have as much roots and foundation as Sophie had, where it was the Sophie, Yule, Nick, Wendell. I mean that whole thing, aside from Tyson and Kim, and Amber were a really tight-knit group. So she had better roots that come merge, she could reactivate to get the outcome that she wanted.
Right. And there is something to be said, just like, because I liked the theory behind, and maybe that's because I don't want it to end up being like Game Changers where, we lost all the, it has been where we've lost so many of the big personalities and the people that we wanted to see in the game until the end, all gone pre-merge, that I was kind of rooting for Ben and Tony's plan of getting out the quieter threats so they can't rise up and strike later, because, then I don't have to deal with like Nick taking away screen time from, somebody like Wendell or something. Yeah. Which, by the way, that whole sequence tonight with Nick being the creeper around camp was amazing.
It was incredible. And that's where I think, Nick's not going to win with edit like that. Adam's not going to win with an edit like that.
No.
Ben's not going to win where they just keep showing, him was he trying to collect firewood or whatever, and he just, fell in the jungle.
No.
But can I just say,
Colleen, maybe he thought what he saw on Idol.
Give some praise to Colleen at the risk of her talking about it for another 20 minutes. Tony is still in the game.
Tony is still in the game, and he's not even considered a threat to have his game thrown out.
He is on the low, so kudos, Tony.
Right.
And how does Tyson come back and not even get mentioned?
I know. That shows you they had a lot bigger fish to fry. Can we talk?
I get it, but it's like, again, he, like Tyson said, it's like, I would vote. They'd be stupid not to vote me out. I get my, sit over here and got roots planted in here. And he just was very smooth, very calm, just kind of asked people what they were going to do. And he sat back. He wasn't, what we see in the edit, he was just sitting back listening. And then,
yeah,
I don't know how even, I don't know. But my first thought was, let's get a Tyson, put him back there. He plus you want to make sure you can keep Boston Rob from coming back in the game.
Yeah. And
so
can we just talk about that?
I
do want to talk about it though, because I was just like, it was so close between Tyson and Boston Rob, and I love the quote. It was like, is he good at this? He's good at everything.
Yeah. So if I'm the remaining survivors, I'm also thinking, okay, because we know that Boston Rob's going to get one more shot to come back in the game. Yeah. And again, I still think he's in the better position of coming back later than now, even though it's tough over there at Vic Station.
Well, he already
Well,
has
but
4
again-
tokens, and give him a few more days. How many more tokens is he going to have?
Well, but I will maintain, just like I argued last week, that the longer you're out there exposed to the elements, without a decent shelter like they have at camp, which without food or the opportunity to win
All
reward
right, hold on a
challenges.
second. You said decent shelter.
Wendell
Literally, there was.
Oh, that's true. Wendell lost. Oh my God, the Edge of Extinction accommodations are about to get awesome.
That's true, right? But I think there's something to Rob. He came prepared. He had his winter coat, so he doesn't need to eat. And I think, I think he's right. I listen. I'm not counting the old dog out. I think Rob still gets in the final one if Tyson doesn't go back out there, because Tyson was the only one that was also, because I think even you said, Colleen, like as a challenge, so I was like, oh, Tyson's really good at these kind of hand-eye coordination challenges. And even then, Rob was right there within a second of winning.
So that's why I think, like you were saying, he's going to get more tokens. He's going to probably have a huge advantage over everybody else. But how did Danny have an advantage?
Danny?
Did she have an
Because
advantage?
she didn't have to dig.
She must have found something that we've
We've or I just don't remember.
Shh. I don't know. This is why people don't like us. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
we forgot to mention that
Yeah.
our bad review from last week. He actually reached out to us.
Yes. It had a happy ending.
Yeah,
Unlike Tiger
he
King.
didn't change the review, but he gave us 5 stars.
Well, no, he told me that he was going to leave it up for posterity because
Actually, I can't argue with the review for the most part.
I know because we can't even remember how Danny got her token.
Well,
Again, I said it last
don't
week, a
remember.
broken-
She got it from carrying the logs up.
Oh, that's right. That's how Amber got one too. And
Amber didn't get one. She
No,
had a dig.
Amber didn't get one.
No, Amber gave her token to Rob. Rob says in the beginning that Amber. Yeah.
Yes, but I don't think that he had the 4. He wanted the 4 so he could buy an immunity idol on the other side.
Okay, but she didn't have the advantage because she gave her token to Rob.
Yeah, but okay.
Because if she had used her token to buy herself an advantage,
But I don't. Okay, all right. Yeah, maybe. I think you're right.
Because Ethan had one.
Okay, you seem a little like you don't agree with me, but you don't want to go down this rabbit hole.
Yeah, I think we need to move on from this rabbit hole. Okay. But anyways, I think it was, it was a good challenge between Tyson and Rob, and unfortunately, and I think even they said at the end too, is like, of course Sandra dipped out of this. She wasn't going to win this challenge.
I like how everybody though kind of acknowledged it. They were she was right.
And there was some people, some more trolly than the others, were trying to like knock Sandra here, but I think she's right. Like she's not a challenge threat, so
I saw
why
about
stay in it?
probably like
Especially if you can get a
40% were against her quitting. Probably about 60%.
The internet
Which
was
is-
kinder.
Which is big for you, Jack, because you are very much against quitting, but she got voted out, so it's not like she's quitting.
She just chose not
while
to
in the
continue.
game. Yeah.
It's like she made a decision. It's for hers to live with. I mean, it's not like she quit. She technically was still in the game, but she wasn't going to win.
Yeah.
So, but I wouldn't quit.
All right.
You'd have to do me kicking and
We're
screaming.
going down this rabbit hole again, and you didn't want me to go down a rabbit hole of something that happened this episode.
So, Tyson's back in it, but name's not even mentioned. But yeah, I think it makes sense because I think Sophie and Jeremy had other machinations. And I feel bad for Wendell going here. But again, it was just kind of funny how everybody, and it makes sense. They're all winners. They all know how the game goes. So none of them wanted to be the one making the decision.
Right.
And I think I mentioned how it doesn't seem like blood's going to be back on Sophie's hands here. And given in the preview for next week, that seems to be the case. But those are always misleading, or can always be misleading. So is there blood on Sophie's hands? Do you think this blows back on her? Or do you really think she's walking away from this mob boss clean?
I didn't see anything that she did. She wasn't overly aggressive. You know, she just talked to a few people, spread the seed. And
Yeah.
I mean, like even Jeremy said, he goes, I don't know, because Jeremy doesn't like to be the one that openly campaigns to get somebody
Right.
out.
And
He
was
likes
clearly...
to do. He likes to do it just like Sophie. They spread the
Yeah, exactly.
plant the seed and let it grow.
Right. And Sophie pulled that off much better. And
Jeremy's let Tony go around being, we gotta get this guy.
Right. Why is no, I think that Tony's probably working that Trish game right now where he's just trying to keep Tony from being Tony.
Well, yeah, and I do think there's an element to it. Like, this is what the edit's showing us. We did see Sophie having conversations, but I think Sophie had the advantage of she had much more of her original tribe intact,
right?
And much more relationships intact, where Jeremy did not have those. I mean, Natalie gone, Rob gone, Parvati gone, like all of it gone, and then Denise being on the wrong side of that Denise vote. So he was playing behind the 8 ball anyway. And it makes sense that he was on the losing side of it, and Nick and Michelle were also on the wrong side of that vote.
But I also think Jeremy's a threat, and they couldn't vote him. So, I think it was...
voting Wendell was definitely... I mean, they even said it in the episode that it was definitely a way
I think Sophie said it.
Bring him down.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Because, I mean, Jeremy is a huge threat, and, he's good at finding idols. He's decent at challenges. He's very sociable.
And he's smart and he's subtle, and he knows that he has to be subtle.
Siri wanted to know what subtle meant, I think.
Siri's been absolute crap lately. I tried to call you the other. I tapped my earbud and said, "Call Colleen." I said, "Calling Michael Bean." I'm like, what the hell? And then I said, "No," and I did it again, and then it said, "Calling Adam Cohen." I was like, "How is that Colleen?"
Our old namer?
Was that his? Yeah, was that his name? Yeah.
Who we haven't talked to in 3.5 years since we moved.
Yeah, but I was like, how do you get that when I said Colleen?
That's so funny.
Siri, you're drunk. Go home.
Oh, Siri is quarantined too, and she's also drinking
and
while
she's lost her social skills. God.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, what else happened? I want to talk about
a quick challenge. I thought Tyson would do better at this. But,
I know. I remember when we first saw it, I was like, "Oh, Tyson's really good at this one." But I mean, that rain, Sophie shivering, it made me shiver. I was like, "Girl, I feel ya. I'm always cold like that."
Yeah, that pole being wet,
yeah,
you could say lubricated, made it a lot harder to hold on to it.
Yeah,
which is known to happen.
Which is
in
known
those
to
situations.
happen. But it can be more painful if it's dry. So
it can be more painful if it's dry.
I like when Michelle fell down. Jeff, do you need medical? No, I'm okay.
She fell. That was a.
And then he just walks away. Okay.
Honestly, I don't know how nobody broke their ankle falling, like broke a foot, an ankle.
Most
or something.
others kind of sit like they were closer to the ground. She was from the top.
I know. Well, when Adam was freaking out about being scared, I was like, I also get that.
Especially when you're cold like that.
Yeah,
it hurts more. So,
it
was probably just a jarring.
But she kind of landed with her wrist down too. So I was worried. Oh, that's how you break a wrist right there when you land. As Jack and I both know, working in ice rinks, a lot of ways to hurt yourself, and falling down from that height is no joke. So kudos for her. It was very sweet of Adam to kind of like rock her, help her walk back too.
Agreed.
But man, can we just talk about Jeremy's death stare of Nick? Like,
oh my god, I know. Yeah. And Nick's like Joker, like maniacal.
You will fall down.
Yeah. I am going to kill you. Drop.
Again,
because Nick started moving after that.
I think it's safe to say after this episode, that Nick is probably not going to win this game. He's probably going to get himself voted out by going on some kind of dumb revenge spree next week, because there's no better way to call attention to yourself. But him being the creeper around camp thing was amazing. And then at the end, then how it pays off when Jeremy and Ben are talking, and Nick kind of walks up and he's like, "What do you want?"
That was so funny.
Oh, no.
Now, do you think that was just editing, or is it Nick just really coming up because no one was talking to him?
I think the edit probably just follows the flow of it, and if Nick that was all like within post that challenge, so and even like later on after that, he still kind of butted into another conversation. I think it was Jeremy and I can't remember whom else, but
that's right.
I do like how
Tyson,
Adam
maybe?
asked Ben. So I don't know. I just got back, and then Jeremy, and then Adam's like, "Come on!" Those two just do not like each
They
other.
just definitely don't.
So given Ben and Tony kind of being with Jeremy that they need bigger shields, why do you think they went with the Wendell vote?
Because Sophie, I think it's exactly why Sophie had more power in the game, and Wendell was seen as it was the two schools of looking at it. Wendell cuts the benefits to voting out Wendell is you cut off, Jeremy's big alliance.
I think they're afraid of Jeremy.
And while Wendell, Wendell does play a decent game, we didn't really see a whole lot of that this middle part of, so far, but whatever. Like, I think that they saw Wendell as a bigger threat, and they saw Wendell and Jeremy pairing off as a huge threat. And when you look at it that way, like cut off like the head of the snake in that regard or whatever, but the other way of looking at it is taking out the smaller people that could be, that could come at you like silent snipers or whatever, like, and be numbers for other people. So I think that just the two theories of schools of thoughts kind of came to a head, and more people felt comfortable because the smaller people that are numbers to everybody else, they felt more comfortable voting for Wendell.
I do think, oh, go ahead, Jack.
It also shows you that Tony, whatever he says, you can't believe him.
What do you mean?
But he said, "Oh, we got to vote this," and then he goes another way. So that's his game. Is you can't trust him. But
so did Ben. Ben, because if there were only 4 votes and it was Wendell, Nick, Michelle, and Jeremy that voted for Adam, then that means Ben flipped too.
Yeah, but Ben's a flipper.
It's a flip flopper. I do, and one, I want to acknowledge that it's 3 white people doing this podcast, but I do feel like there has to be a discussion of the race thing too,
yes.
Because it's like and again, there was a connection there, and obviously Jeremy wanted to play with Wendell, but like, would you have those same conversations if Wendell wasn't also a black man that Jeremy was having conversations with? And I feel like that also, even if it was unconscious bias, had to play a part in it as well.
And I was talking about this. Shandy,
not that I'm going to call anybody a racist, but I just feel like
Shandy brought this up last week that she, other than Yule is like one of her favorite winners because Cook Islands is her favorite season, and other than just the sadness about losing Yule last week, she mentioned, she goes like, and yikes at the optics of like the 2 white people deciding like which person of color to vote out. And that would be, it was Nick and, who was it? It was Nick and
Michelle.
Adam. It was Nick and Adam, and they were trying.
No, it wasn't Adam. I think it was Michelle and Nick.
Weren't there 5 people in that tribe last week?
I don't think
No,
Adam was
4.
over there.
4.
Yeah, it was just 4.
Okay, so then them 2 deciding, having the power to decide which person of color to vote out.
Yeah.
Which also, I was like, yeah, that's a really good point.
Well, you could put it that way, but you could also put, okay, I can't beat him. So,
well, that's
I can't beat Yule. So, you're looking from a game standpoint.
No, I get the game.
That's the way that's the way I look at it. I was like, okay, I can't beat him.
Right, and what Jay is pointing out is even if it's like, it's not like, I won't put words in your mouth, Jay. But
I just think
they were talking about Nick earlier.
But then why is it not Tony? Like if Jeremy's having a conversation with Tony, why is it not Tony and Jeremy have? We got to break that.
Maybe they think they could. I don't think they think they can beat Jeremy. We all have to admit,
that's what I'm saying. If they think we gotta hurt Jeremy, we're gonna take out the black guy.
Yeah, why not say take out
Tony or the other people Jeremy's clearly having conversations with?
But they know that Tony went the other. Tony voted for
Yes, Tony voted for that, but he was originally not on board with Wendell.
But was Tony just, again, Tony says a lot of stuff. Was he just telling Jeremy what he wanted to hear?
No, I don't think he was.
Maybe. I mean, who knows? We don't know. And again, I don't want to. I'm not painting
it's just something
anybody
to be aware of.
Any
like you
color.
don't have to. Nobody has to be feel defensive that if you thought that Wendell was the right person to take out. It's not about making somebody feel defensive about it. It's just bringing awareness to a different way to look at a situation.
I would have taken Tyson out. That's me.
But so that's where I think it's just as much as there is, and again, it's a social game, and I think it does kind of show biases that are inherent in society where a lot of times why is it always the women, or why is it always the POC, the person of color, and
why is the bald guy always the villain in every episode of any TV show?
Because they deserve it.
Just throwing it out there.
Jay's
always the villain.
I know Jay's just trying to talk about something serious.
So I
am talking about something serious.
But yeah, I think so that I just think it has to be at least said. And not to say that I think anyone had any malice in that decision or anything, but I do think you have to look at and acknowledge maybe some unconscious bias that could lead to those decisions that get made.
You could be right, but I'll say if that's your logic to win $2 million, you're voting because those two black guys.
No.
I'm saying if that's what happened.
It is.
That's stupid because I'm out there to play.
But we're not saying we're not saying that that's.
I'm not saying you're saying that. I'm saying if that's what, because you guys are saying that could be underlying law. I'm saying if that's what they were thinking, it's stupid because you need to. At this point, I'm like, who can I beat? Who can I beat? That's how my vote's going to go.
No, I agree completely, but I think it's more of just unconscious bias, which is.
That's what I'm saying.
You're not inherently thinking it. You're just like, oh, they're close. I'm gonna break that up.
Yeah, I'm saying if that's what your logic was, just because you have there is racism in the world. I just think it's stupid.
No, I agree.
I'm going to vote. I'm voting for. Like I said, I go, yeah, Tyson. If I went to the final three with Tyson, that would be tough.
I think there were a lot of scores.
I can't vote out Jeremy, which would be because he won the Unity Idol. I got to vote out Tyson.
And again, Wendell was not playing a perfect game by any stretch of the imagination.
No, clearly, I don't think he would have won because he ticked so many people off.
But clearly, the person he was probably pissing off the most was still on his side and voted with him.
And he gave her a token at the end.
Yeah. So clearly, it's it's like any probably like ex. You have an ex, and you can have a decent relationship with them, but there's probably still some animosity there. But it's clear they still had respect. But remember,
last week I said maybe they were playing that up, and they were actually playing together.
Maybe, but at the end of the day, Nick, Wendell, and then if it was only 3, then did Jeremy turn on them?
No. Jeremy voted for Wendell. There was 4, wasn't there? Wasn't it?
Jeremy didn't vote for Wendell.
No, he didn't vote for Wendell.
No,
Do we know what the vote was? That's why I don't like this whole new thing where they're not showing the votes at the end.
Didn't Wendell have? I'm sorry. Didn't Adam only have 4 votes against him?
I thought he had 3.
I thought he had 3.
He only had. He had the. It was because at one point it was 3-3, and then it was Wendell, and this. That's right.
Okay.
So there could have been another vote for Adam, but we don't see it. So
that's true.
Or Michelle could have been playing Nick.
Yeah, they could have been playing each other. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Jeremy's face, and especially after he spent the whole day talking about getting Adam instead, or Nick instead, or whoever, Jeremy's face, I interpreted that to mean that he did not expect the vote to go that way. But maybe he did, and maybe he was just pissed that he was, essentially forced to vote against Wendell at the end. I'd be interested to find out. I'm sure that Nick is, because we saw he's going to go on his little revenge, man baby spree, and
it's going to go well.
I'm sure when he asks everybody who they voted for, we'll find out.
Yeah.
Well, why would Nick be mad?
Because Nick was Wendell's number 2, like, or Wendell was Nick's number 2.
Yeah, like they were each other's number 1.
I get that, but he even said he would vote for Wendell.
Yeah, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it shakes out next week for sure.
No, I'm saying I'm saying, but you don't. Why would you risk your game because somebody else got voted out? It's like, again, that's stupid play. You don't make a scene like that.
Well, I think Colleen was basing it more on like the trailer for next week because again, who
no,
knows?
I get it, but I'm just saying why. That's not something I would get emotional.
Right.
Over.
I think that Nick genuinely was caught by surprise.
Yeah.
Good, but you come back and you go, all right, I got beat. Okay, just keep it.
Oh, I know, and that's why I think that's why I called him a big old crybaby going on a dumb vendetta. Because you know what?
Again, it looks like next week Nick's putting a target on his back when the target should be Tyson.
Exactly.
Or if Jeremy loses, doesn't get a Jeremy.
Right.
Who can't I beat? That's what it comes down to. Like I said, Sophie, I don't think anyone considers her a threat.
I know, that's the dangerous thing.
She played one season. She was very under the radar in that season, and I don't think they're considering her a threat, and they should.
Yeah, I agree.
Honestly, I could see maybe Jeremy's play being, if he survives a couple of episodes, planting a bug in like Denise's ear, and pointing out, Sophie's doing pretty good here. Like you want
Jeremy
your queen you want your Queen Slayer narrative. Look at Sophie over there. Sophie's
maybe
taking out everyone.
He'd have a better shot if he didn't was on the wrong side of that Denise vote. I think if he would have shown his allegiance to Denise in that vote, it would have been a better play. He didn't vote for her. He voted against her in that vote on the Queen Slayer vote. She was the only one. She even said it in this episode.
Yeah,
they even said it in this episode.
But she didn't tell him the plan, though, did she? No. If she would have told him I don't think you can hold it against him if he's trying to look. I'm trying to protect myself.
Yeah,
I got 2 votes going this way. Someone plays an idol. I just got to make sure it's not me.
But if you're talking about I guess Survivor pros would tell you the vote is when you truly test where your alliances lie. But I agree, it's not as bad looking for Jeremy on that one. But I think there's a chance.
No, but it's not a great look when you're seen running around like that, and then you're on the losing end of the numbers.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
If Denise would have said, look, this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to say, all right, I'll vote for Sandra too.
Final thoughts for this episode before we hear what our listeners thought about this episode.
It was intense. I thought I really liked the challenge to get back into the game.
Yeah. Have they done the tie sticks together to unhook a thing every time a player's had a chance to get back into the game?
Well,
I believe so.
And last season, and I was trying to remember, I think it was Pearl Islands also had a thing where they had to get a thing together to get a key off a hook to unlock them from a cage or something like that.
You can't say.
I did think it was smart. All the players from Exile, Edge of Extinction said how hard it was over there.
Yeah.
So if you do go to, say your final 3 and you came back from Edge of Extinction, say Tyson, at least they can say it was no picnic. It was rough.
Oh no, yeah, it's. I mean, it looks intense.
Yeah. So what do we think about this fire tokens thing? You think it's paying off so far with it being like island currency, and now we've kind of seen it.
Well, it's
play a little bit more.
It's blown back in Sandra's face.
Yeah.
It's kind of blown back in Wendell's face because a lot of his thing was about trying to get tokens.
It didn't work out so well for Rob.
I think Rob still
Tony
has a chance.
went to inflation in the island. Tony now thinks it costs more for poor Tony.
Oh.
So I do. To me, I think it's if anybody that's overplaying it so far, but hopefully the people that are holding on to him are going to be able to play it out in the end. And we'll have to see.
Well, there's a learning curve too. I mean, you have to know.
Right.
Well, it took until Russell and how many to make immunity idols a thing, and how many seasons of immunity idols was it until Russell broke?
No. Yeah, Russell broke it.
Broke the system to find the idols.
Right.
But it broke it, but actually showed how you could use hidden immunity idols as this game changer. And so, I don't know, because was it China was the first season where they had the immunity idol, right?
I think so.
So how many seasons was it from there to when Russell did it, where he actually showed how you play this? And since then, that's how you've been playing immunity idols. But Like, so this is the first time we've had tokens. It might take a few seasons for someone to figure out. Not everybody's Richard Hatch, where you basically lay the groundwork and the template to how to play the game the first time the game's ever been played in the United States. So I think, again, it's a shame Richard Hatch is not in this season.
Man,
But
I would have loved to watch Hatch try to figure out the fire token groundwork.
right? Because, again, I love... And his commentary was on Rob Has a Podcast, or even I think his own show now. Like he knows the game and he can speak about it well, and I would love to have a mind like that trying to figure out how to properly play the fire tokens. But again, so like Hatch sets the template for alliances and making it further game and actually playing the social game. Russell Hantz shows how you use hidden immunity idols to, bring your game further along in the game. And then you have these fire tokens where we haven't seen it yet, but nobody has really shown how you use fire tokens to actually have a chance at winning the game. And
it could be Rob.
It could be, because he's sitting on, a good pile of tokens. So we'll just have to wait and see. He had a game plan if he came back in it today to then cash in his tokens and get a hidden immunity idol.
So China was season 15, I think, and Samoa was season 19.
So 4 seasons, 2 years, to show how to use the hidden immunity idol.
To break the system. I think people knew, I think that they were
James was the one that perfected how to use the Am I wrong?
Because before then it was you have to have clues and then you find it. Like Russell's no, I'm just going to go try and find the idol. Screw the clues.
Right.
I remember when he did that, I go, how's that going to happen?
Yeah.
And he found it under a bridge or something, right? Some kind of...
He found a few.
Found it under the first one he found under something.
So I think it'd be interesting to see if someone figures out how to use it this season. And yeah, if I had to put my money on anyone, I could put it on Rob. I thought Tyson could be the one, but then he exchanged it for peanut butter.
I think I would argue that Tyson used his tokens in the totally correct way for Tyson, because he got peanut butter and he still got back in the game.
It's true.
He's back in the game. You
That's
can't. True. Of course, he has no money to buy tokens. So no tokens to buy
immunity idol or whatever.
Immunity idol. But I guess he's not a threat, so we don't vote for Tyson.
I think that there were scores to settle and there were, footings to be had, and I think that, Tyson was off people's radar.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
He laid low.
I think even Sophie said it in Tribal. He had the least amount of baggage because he was out of the game.
It's kind of
I get it, but it's, again, you got to start thinking, who can I beat?
But how everyone was playing, since they're all winners, are I don't want to make the decision. So it was all.
Well, I get it, but it's
well, think about it this way, right? In Survivor, the Philippines. What was the Mat Singh tribe went almost the entire that was Denise and Malcolm's tribe, right? And then by the time that they got up to the merge, that Tandang tribe, the one that RC was on, and who else was on? Abby Maria, They had never been to tribal council at all before the merge, and they had some baggage and they had some scores to settle, and they should have continued on with targeting Denise and Malcolm to just kind of eliminate those outside threats that they didn't see as threats because they didn't have anybody but each other, and instead there was infighting, and it kind of led to a whole bunch of.
Well, that's why people don't win the game.
Well, exactly, and I'm thinking that that's probably the reasoning with Tyson, is there were bigger fish to fry in the moment than Tyson.
I guess. I'll laugh when Tyson wins.
It's true. It's very true.
I can't imagine
all right.
them.
That is what we thought about this episode. Now it's time to get into what you all thought about this episode with listener feedback.
On, everybody.
Here we go. All right, it's listener feedback time. Time to hear what you all thought about this episode. Colleen, take it away.
All right, so the first email is from Betsy. I think that's a new emailer. And it's Survivor and COVID-19 and live finale, ?
Ooh.
Hi, Colleen, Jay, and Jack. I'm first. I'm never first. Yay. A thought occurred to me this week.
I already hate this email.
A thought occurred to me this week. What will happen to the traditional live reading of the votes, announcing the winner, and reunion talk? I imagine it will be canceled, so how do you think they will announce the winner?
God, that's a good question.
I love listening to your show. Take care. Stay healthy.
You can have maybe the final three there.
And 6 feet apart.
No audience.
Definitely
and have them
no audience.
Obviously sitting apart. And just do it that way. And then you can have the other people Skyping in.
Or maybe you have the final three Skype in.
Well, I think you have to have.
Well, they can't fly. They can't fly to L.A.
That's true. I guess it's going to have to be a Skype because there's no way There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no chance. There's no chance in 6 weeks they're going to have a live reunion show.
Yeah.
There's just no. Unfortunately, there's no way.
Yeah. There's just no way.
I'm looking, and I don't see. There's no news on it yet. Everything just really talks about how the season 39 reunion show was pre-taped, and we're not going to go down that road again.
No.
But yeah,
No.
I think I think it'll be Skyped, but I think it's a great question to ask because.
Can you imagine doing the winner over Zoom?
Because I think it's what's going to be. Because like you look, I just read a story today. A few weeks ago, I was like beginning of March. This choir group met up for practice.
Yes.
And a whole bunch of them got it.
So 60, it was 60 people. 45 of them got sick, and 3 of them died.
3 of them died, and it's just like you just can't risk it, you know?
Right. So I don't know if maybe they can private.
There's no way CBS is going to put themselves in a position to be.
Maybe if they did it with a skeleton crew and a private jet flew just the 3 finalists out.
No, I don't think so. I think it's going to be remote, the whole thing. But we'll see.
I'm sure they're trying to figure it out right now.
Probably.
Oh, by the way,
great email for your first email.
Yes, thank you. And you guys are all lucky that we're on a time crunch here.
So, Colleen, why don't you get to that next email?
I really wanted to read about this article that Survivor contestants shared their funniest stories of pooping on the show, but I will save that for another day.
All right, that'll be a great one with you and Zach. All right, next email.
All right, this is from Mandy.
Mandy.
I'm
not going to say anything.
Okay.
It's on you, Colleen.
Tyson! That was nerve-wracking. Nick sliding into those conversations. New season, who dissed?
It's okay. Nick's already in my DMs.
I don't know if I want him there, though.
Nope.
Enjoy retirement, Jay.
Thank you.
And our last email is from Victoria.
Victoria!
Man, they took out my guy. I was so disappointed in Wendell this season. I liked him better single, LOL. This episode was just okay for me. I did love all the challenges, and seeing Rob and Tyson battle it out till the end was amazing to watch. The one thing I was annoyed by was seeing them keep Adam in the game. I'm ready for him to go at this point.
Yeah.
I don't mind Adam. I'm good with losing Adam before we lose like Kim or Tony.
Adam's frustrated because he can't play the game he's used to playing that he played the first time.
But even then,
he was the ringmaster. He controlled it.
But even then, he didn't play a
Hannah.
great.
He had Hannah.
But he didn't play a great game. It was more of like the
But he was
cards
able.
were right.
But he was able to get. He had influence. He has no influence in this game. It's just
He
you're Adam. We're going to vote you out. We
Yeah.
have a chance, and you can't win. So just be quiet. And I think he's just frustrated by it.
And I can see that. It is frustrating.
Indeed. All right. It is now time to tally the votes. Let's see. Preseason picks. It's our first merge boot. So let's see. Wendell, Colleen, and Jack said merge. I said pre-merge. What the heck?
Really? You really wanted to retire?
Jesus. Apparently. We all said BIGS, which I can't remember what the acronym was for. But
the Big Island Returnee or something?
I don't know.
Back in game.
Back in game. There we go. Both
I know Big Island Returnee does not equal big.
Both Colleen and Jack said Natalie. And I said B Rob. Nothing. Oh, man, I picked Ben. I thought I picked Wendell. Damn it.
To go home?
To go home.
I thought you changed it.
I did. I really felt Wendell, too. All right, Colleen said Adam, no points.
Oh,
Jack
so
said
close.
Tony, no points. And I said Ben,
I'm done
no
picking
points.
Tony.
Somehow, Ben's still in this game.
I feel
Sorry,
like when
Ben.
Tony goes home, it's going to be telegraphed. Like
You've been garbage, Ben, but somehow you're still in it. All
I
right.
really enjoy watching Ben this season. Like I think that he's a
Ben
really
has
good
chills and
character.
he's a big threat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
you're.
character. He's a fun character.
You
to
like
keep
Ben so
around.
much because that's how probably you would play the game. I don't know. What are you on?
Me?
You're like, I'm just sitting
No,
here being bald.
Colleen.
I'm the bad guy. Oh,
All right.
you're talking about me?
I'd flat out lie to him.
Oh, I'd be more like Adam. What are you talking about? I would be terrified and crying.
I say, Adam, your name has come up.
You would be Adam. I'm so scared. I'm scared.
Oh yeah, I would have been
All
out of
right,
that challenge so quick. But at least when I peed my pants up there, we wouldn't have been able to tell from the rain. The rain.
Oh my god.
Hey, warm you up.
Is this week 8? Week
Yes,
7?
this is
Week
8.
All right. So my Wendell winner's pick is out.
He can come back in.
I'm gonna say Sophie is my next pick. I
That's
think
a safe pick.
it's a good ass pick. Watch her get kicked out next week. This is insane. All three of us are out our original winner's pick. And two of no, Colleen, you still have Denise
I
in the
still
game.
have Denise. I don't know for how much longer.
But both Colleen and Jack get tally points this week.
Yay.
So that keeps Jack in the lead with 7 tally points. Colleen's in second place with 6 tally points. And I'm in last place with 5.
You are echoing so loudly in my...
I know, because when I pull up the notes, it kind of delayed our sound, Colleen, but the sound on the recording's fine.
Okay, great.
I don't hear any echo.
All right, that'll do it for this
Wait, did we make our
episode.
pick?
Wait. We haven't picked yet.
You're right. Damn it. I was trying to...
I still have 6 minutes.
all right, here we go.
I'm taking time.
Week 9. Who's going home?
I think we start with you this week, Jay.
No, it is Jack is up first.
I'll take. Gotta be Adam.
Yeah, if it's not, they're dumb. Well, I guess he's so, like, jittery. Like, is he a threat, really, at this
He's
point?
not a threat. He's not a threat. He's a number for Sophie. I can't see them getting rid of him.
I'm saying Jeremy. Colleen, what do you got?
You're probably right with the Jeremy thing, but for the sake of adventure, I'll go with Nick.
All right, there you go. And that will do it for this episode of Survivor with Jay, Jack, and Colleen. Give us a call at 385-309-0311.
Call anytime.
Also, send an email to survivorjjc at
Gmail.
A survivor.
if you want Colleen to overread an email. And join our
If
Facebook
you want
group at
your email to be rudely interrupted every sentence.
facebook.com/
Didn't happen this
/
week, so
JJ.
can't complain.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Never lost. If you use Amazon, jayandjack.com/Amazon. And I want to especially thank Tack for Tokyo, Eckhart Ricker, Maggie the Magnificent, Joanne with the Plan, Ed the Creepy Mailman, Drake the Destroyer, and Greg the Gray. Thank you to all of our patrons. You can find a full list over at jayandjack.com. That'll do it for this episode. We'll see you all next time. Hasta luego, and goodbye.
Peace out.
Bye.